Good morning, folks. Welcome back for another reaction. And it's not music today again, it is food. We're on the topic of food. A lot of people have been telling me that eggs that we have here in the UK are different to eggs that they have in the US. And I couldn't work out why. And then somebody else told me that actually eggs in the US would actually be banned in the UK. Well, that got my inquisitive zone going here. Why? Why would they be banned in the UK? So today we're going to find out. But before we do so, folks, if you haven't done this, please consider doing so. It's totally free. There's no membership in this channel or anything like that there. Everybody gets fair crack of the videos. Everybody sees everything at the same time. Okay, so what we're going to look at today is the difference between the eggs in the USA and the eggs in the UK. This video has came from Kaylin. Kaylin has her YouTube channel, American Gun London channel. She's absolutely amazing. Check out her channel, and honestly, she is amazing. I actually just double checked her YouTube channel. There's Girl Gone London, and honestly, she is absolutely amazing. I don't know where she gets all her information from. She just talks all about it. I think she has it written down secretly, but you can't see it. I'd forget it. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at today, as I say, at the difference between eggs in the US and eggs in the UK. So I've waffled enough here. So let's get the video up. So here we go. There's the black box, right on time. So let's see what this is all about. Here we go.
Why do most British supermarkets sell brown eggs and most American supermarkets sell white eggs? And why would American eggs actually be illegal in the UK? The answer to these questions, as well as the one egg-related kitchen tool that most Americans have never seen before, are answered in this video. Let's start with maybe the most popular difference that many people have heard before, and that is the clickbaity headline that American eggs would be illegal in the UK. It's not clickbait really, it's true, but it just sounds extremely dramatic, like they're gonna be arresting people at the border or something for bringing in their egg sandwich. Really, it has to do with differences in food safety standards between the countries. In the US, eggs are federally required to be washed and sanitized before they hit the shelves. This is because the USDA believes that no matter how conscientious a farmer is, there will always be a small amount of eggs with harmful bacteria on them, and if they're left unwashed, that bacteria could cross-contaminate or cause harm to consumers.
So all eggs in the US have to be washed and sanitized. Right. What are they sanitized with? We're going to find this out.
However, if you wash too thoroughly, you can actually allow for bacteria to infiltrate through to the inside of the eggs because you're removing their natural protective barrier. And this is why in the UK, you are not allowed to process eggs like this, as there's already a natural protective barrier that they don't want to wash away or damage. In the UK, it's considered more dangerous to wash the eggs and remove what is known as the cuticle, which is the natural protective barrier. To make up for removing this natural barrier, some American eggs are then sprayed with a type of oil and refrigerated. You would never store American eggs outside of refrigeration, while in the UK, eggs are unrefrigerated. You can put them in the fridge at home, it's not gonna hurt anything, but they don't need to be refrigerated within supermarkets like in America. Again, this is because in the UK, they haven't removed the eggs of their protective coating, as well as another reason. The UK decided it would be a bigger risk to refrigerate eggs within a supermarket and then have consumers bring the eggs into a higher temperature, for example, into a car or something like that, and then have the eggs sweat from the condensation, potentially leading to other food safety issues that could just be avoided if they were sold directly on the supermarket shelf. Now that's just the basics. There are many more differences between UK and US eggs than how they are washed and stored. Another major difference is that the majority of eggs sold in British supermarkets are brown, and the majority of eggs sold in American supermarkets are white. The color of the egg has to do with the breed of the hen, and white eggs at one time were more popular in the UK, but in the 70s, brown eggs started to sell better. Partly due to marketing and partly due to a kind of folklore that brown eggs were somehow healthier or more organic than white eggs. This isn't true, but it somehow became kind of a class thing as well, with brown eggs seeming higher class than white eggs, and so with more brown eggs being sold in the UK, and the hens that lay white eggs are still around, but they're less needed in the production process.
Do you know something? I don't think I've ever had a white egg. White shelled egg? No, I haven't. I've never had an egg with white shell. Never. I can't help the chickens. So basically, brown eggs and white eggs was a class thing. It became like a class. Brown eggs were more classier than white eggs. Oh my God. Only in the UK.
And thus less prevalent in the UK. However, in recent years, this is changing. White eggs are still not more prominent than brown eggs in British supermarkets, but they are becoming more common to find. It started during COVID, when demand in the UK for eggs went up and retailers began stocking white eggs next to brown eggs on the shelf. After sensing that consumers would actually purchase white eggs, today you can start to find white eggs more readily in the UK, particularly in Tesco. Again, this isn't a good or bad thing, it's just an interesting difference. Brown eggs and white eggs are fundamentally the same inside, it's just what consumers are used to. And, fun fact, traditionally most eggs that you would eat in a British restaurant would actually have been white eggs because they're cheaper than brown eggs and you can easily buy them in bulk. In the US, we're predominantly sold white eggs in the store. Again, culturally, it's just what we used to. So now there's developed a weird stigma against brown eggs for some people because they're not used to them. And also, if we had brown eggs, how could we dye our eggs at Easter time like this? Now, once the eggs get to the breakfast table, how are they eaten? I was really shocked by this one because I looked up the differences and completely misjudged what I thought the American results would be, but let's start with the UK. In this study, the most popular way to eat eggs in the UK is scrambled, followed by fried, which makes sense. Fried eggs are an essential part of an English breakfast, and scrambled eggs on toast, sometimes with beans, is a really popular meal here. Then you've got omelets, hard-boiled eggs, poached eggs, and soft-boiled eggs in decreasing order. In the US, a study was undertaken using Google Trends to figure out the most popular way of eating eggs in each state. For Americans, the most favorite egg around the country is actually the boiled egg. Most prefer a hard-boiled egg to a soft-boiled egg, but they're boiled nonetheless. The next most popular egg was a poached egg, which won in 10 states, and then omelets, and then scrambled eggs in last. This was what was shocking to me because scrambled eggs is still a popular part of an American breakfast for many people, but because the study was which of the ways of eating eggs is your favorite per state, it's possible that scrambled eggs would have come second or third in many states, and so it didn't get counted in the way this study was done. We'll get to scrambled eggs at the end of this video. There's also a really interesting study that shows how the states are split on the type of boiled egg they prefer, with the hard-boiled being popular in the north and east, and the soft-boiled being popular out west. And then, of course, there's the fried egg. Here's where the differences between the UK and the US start up again. In the UK, a fried egg is usually just a fried egg. It's what is called in America sunny side up, with the egg looking like this. It's not flipped over, with the yolk still runny and intact, and the whites are cooked all the way through. You can specify when you're ordering if you'd like it done a bit differently, but there's no specific term for this, and usually they just come as they are. In the US, we've somehow come up with all of these different terms for fried eggs depending on how they're served. They're a little variable based on region, but generally sunny side up means fried, not flipped with a runny yolk. Over easy is a sunny side up egg, but it has been flipped on the other side. The yolk is still runny. Then there's an over medium egg, which is fried, flipped, and then fried some more, so the edges are brown, but the inside of the yolk is still runny. Then over hard. It means the yolk and the white are completely cooked, which is great for breakfast sandwiches. If you're ordering eggs in the US and you forget all of these terms, you can just describe it, they'll figure it out eventually. And sometimes, even within the US, people use different terms for how they like their fried eggs based on state or region, so don't feel like you need to carry your egg terminology booklet around with you just to order breakfast. Another difference that shocked the internet a few years ago is that egg cups, which are these kind of things, these are kind of like fancy little pale ones, but these are egg cups. They're relatively uncommon in the US. I had never seen something like this designed to hold an egg before moving to the UK. So comment below, Americans. Do you have egg cups of any variety in your home? They're popular in the UK to put in a soft boiled egg with the yolk still runny and to dip toast slices into, or just eat it with a spoon. If you're using the toast slices, it's called egg and soldiers. Again, I have never experienced this.
Oh, I love egg and soldiers. Now, I know Kaelin's not going to mention this, but in Northern Ireland here, probably on the mainland as well, another famous delicacy of eggs for us is, now, I don't know if the UK do it or not, mainland now, we like boiled eggs, shelled, put into a cup, you would drink your tea out of, or a bowl if you wanted, mashed up, we say beat up, but mashed up with butter, with salt and pepper. You have never tasted anything like it in your life. So if you haven't tried that, it's a couple of boiled eggs, or many as you want, shelled, mashed, good proper butter. That's 2 unhealthy tips I've give this week. Butter with salt and pepper to taste. Unbelievable. Oh, you've never tasted it. It's a very old-fashioned thing here. I remember growing up with it. You know, if you weren't well or you were ill, your mum used to give it to you. So try that if you haven't, as we know, it's one of Stuart's unhealthy tips.
Before in my life in America, and it's clear that some other people hadn't either, based on this article that tries to explain what we use for soft-boiled eggs in the States instead of egg cups. Suggestions include using a small bowl, cutting them in half, just opening them and eating them on toast, and using a shot glass. I'll let you make up your own mind on these methods. They actually do sell egg cups in the US on Amazon. You can find them in some stores, but just because they sell it doesn't mean it's going to be something you find in most people's homes. Now, there is an article I found about scrambled eggs in the UK versus USA, but I need you all to weigh in on how you do your scrambled eggs because one article does not make it a fact. They essentially state that Brits make their scrambled eggs in a pot or pan like this, stirring frequently and doing a sort of soft scramble, whereas Americans make scrambled eggs in a frying pan like this. This one needs to be washed, I think. Why is that so dirty? It's flavor, right? They use a frying pan and they do a sort of hard scramble diner style eggs, which means that you cook the eggs through completely and they sit in the pan longer than the British scrambled eggs. So I think we need to do our own study in the comments to see if they're right. Let me know which country you're from and how you scramble your eggs down below. That brings us to the end of this video. I hope you've learned something new. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.
So there you go, folks. What was I going to say? But I like a poached egg. Fried egg now and again. I'm not overly fussed on fried eggs, but my poached eggs have to be done differently or done differently. I can never get that right. I have a little poacher. I don't know if anybody's ever seen them. It's like a little pot and it has like a grill that goes over the top and it has 4 little cups in it. And you put a little bit of oil or something in to moisten it. And then you put your eggs. My speech is up the left this morning. You put your eggs in each one and you put water underneath in the separate compartment and it steams up and it cooks a poached egg. I don't like poached eggs thrown into a pot of water. I don't like them like that. I just don't like them like that at all. Whoa. But as I say, my favourite style of egg is in the cup with butter. It's unbelievable. It's totally amazing. So don't forget, folks, if you want to check out more of Kaelin's videos, she's Girl Gone London. And she's absolutely amazing. I will put a link to her channel in the description. And also, folks, if you haven't done this, please consider doing so. It doesn't cost a penny. As I say, with this channel, there's no memberships, there's no whatever. everybody just gets the videos when they come out. Also, folks, just to bear in mind, the Chatterhouse is not just a reaction channel. Well, we do other reactions. We do food reactions. We do food reviews. We do music reactions. We've got live nights. We've got a Facebook group as well connected to the channel called the Chatterhouse. I go live once or twice a week. We've got quizzes. We've got my twin sister, who's 30 years older, Auntie Lillian, pops in, and again, check out her channel as well, at Auntie Lillian. Loads goes on here, folks, so if you want to subscribe, you're missing out on a lot. Well, folks, I'll see you all very soon. I hope you enjoyed that this morning. I just can't get over that about the eggs. Imagine washing the eggs. But what I didn't find out is, what do they sanitize them with? What do they sanitize them? If you know any more information, please put it in the comments. Let me know also, as Kaylin says, where you're from. Are you from the US? Can you help me? People in Canada, do you do this with your eggs as well? Let me know. Just let me know. See you all soon. Bye-bye.